Alright, looks like we are live. Everyone, welcome to another stream. Be working on some... Get the music down a bit. I've been doing working off stream a lot, I'll have to admit. I do a lot of, do most of my work off stream to be... I'm not always super brave to showcase all the stuff that I'm working on because I feel like it would be too boring. And you know what? Maybe sometimes it is, but that's okay. I know people are interested in seeing what's going on in the background. So what I thought I would start off this video with is a bit of a recap as to where we're at. So just an update on where the project is at. I don't know, I'd say roughly like 30% of it's done and kind of set up, ready to go. But unfortunately, there was some sort of bug that kept crashing the previous version of it. So I had to, and I tried various methods of trying to figure out what was going on, but nothing I did fixed it. So I decided to start over. And so I rebuilt it from the ground up. And in doing so, because of my previous experience, I rebuilt it in a way that I knew would be helpful. So I've been rebuilding it, and honestly, I love the changes that have been made. The differences is just coming at it again with more experience under my belt has made things a little bit easier, but also I'm planning ahead in my data structure. So let me showcase kind of the format or kind of like how things are set up in the background here. So if you look up here, what I started with is the data. Data for StarFlight is pretty important because a lot of it's already set. I don't have to do a lot of making up a lot of the numbers. A lot of like with the planets, the stars, where the nebulas are, the fluxes. All that's already been done. All that hard work's already been done. So what I have, if we look over here, I have a star database. I'll get rid of this. And if you look down here, I talked a little bit about this in my Patreon posts, but there's a star list that was taken from the OG game, from the original game. And all that information is right here. And I have my own little personal unique identifiers that I've added in here and there. But yeah, this is all the original information. And what's great about this is from here... What is this? I'm going to stop this music. And then from here, I transfer it into Godot resources. And so that's what this function up here is. It creates a star resource. And so it takes the information from that star list and puts it into something that Godot recognizes it, which are these cool things called resources. And I can manipulate the data from there and change the data per game, per save file without affecting the original. And this just adds, it gives me an access point. So in the middle of the game, if I need to find out what the star ID is or what the type of star or flare date of something is, then I can go, I can pick it up by using get star data by ID, or I can get all the star data, the amount of stars. And then what's really cool about this is I've set up in advance that we can add custom stars. Should modding become a thing, should it become something that someone wants to play with, I've added in a custom star list here, which is completely empty, but I've added in the capability of that moving forward, which is kind of fun. So yeah, that's the star list. And then I have the planet database. This thing is huge. There's like over 800 planets. See if this thing, that's really lagging now, but like look at all 402 all the way down to, what are we at? 809, or sorry, 811, I should say. So there's 811 planets in the original StarFlight game, which is crazy. But all that information is here. And it's been reformatted to my own kind of setup that I have going here. In the original, it was a bunch of numbers. Like if you looked at ID 5558 here, this would be like number 3. And you wouldn't know what number 3 element is. So I just made it in enum so you could easily see what's going on here. Now, interestingly enough, this is kind of a fun little point here, is that I discovered that there's actually data differences between the original version, the Commodore version, the Amiga version, and the Genesis version. So I did a bit of research, watched a couple Let's Plays because I don't have all those games, all those versions. And I think it was in the... I need to look up Star ID 25 because I know that's the Arth system. I don't know if this is well known in the community. It sounds like, from what I've read up, that a lot of people think the fractal system they used was a one and done thing. But where is it? Oh, I wrote it all out. Probably just passed it. Check this out. I did a little bit of research, and in the original version, this is in the Arth system. Like the innermost planet, that mineable innermost planet on the Genesis, it's hyper loaded with minerals. Check out this. So the mineral density in the original game was 23. On the Commodore 64, it was 27. In the Genesis version, it's 95. And so you'll see here, again, the OG is what you're seeing here. It's this list. Here, this is the lithosphere stuff. It's very different from version of the game to version of the game. I don't know if people know this, or like if there's a list out there of all the different versions, but it was very interesting going through it and noticing that there are big differences in planets between versions of the game. And I'm not sure how much, I haven't seen the community talk about this at all. And maybe I'm just reading in the wrong spots, but it was very interesting to uncover. So I'm not sure if they either redid the algorithm per game or approached things differently, or this is like a custom change that they made. But pretty fascinating. So anyways, in the same way that the star database works, the planet database, this is all the original data all in this dictionary here. And then this planet database makes it really easy for me to ask for data for the various planets in the game. So I've got a bunch of methods here, like get planet data, get planetary data of a star. Yeah, planets list size. I guess that's all you really need for planet databases. Now, one thing I've been working really hard on is the item database. And this contains all of the artifacts and elements and all their information, like the buy price, the sell price, if it's available at the starport, if it's a repair material. What I've been playing around with is, also these buy and sell prices varied. The prices didn't change, but what am I trying to say here? I think it was in the Genesis game where the element buy price and sell price was the same or something like that. So what I had to do was I created this price mode. Sell price for all. The Genesis game, everything was at the sell price, I think, except ship components. Yeah, ship stuff. And then that was really interesting to discover that the prices were different from game to game. And then here's the artifact data, right, with all their planetary coordinates and all that, and descriptions. Ship module data. So here's another cool thing. So the way I'm approaching designing the engines and the shield classes, and all that, the way I'm going about designing them is I'm putting them in the same category as artifacts and elements, or they're being extended from the item data class, which means potentially what you could do is you can have an artifact in your cargo, but you could also potentially find a ship module in your cargo, right? You could be this is something that I thought would be really cool. Is like, say if you're on a, I don't know, on some planet and just there's a spawn chance of a engine class 5 being there by some rarity, or maybe a quest line, or maybe from a ship, like maybe you blow up a ship in an encounter and their engine module has a rare chance to spawn. And so you can actually put it in your cargo hold, bring it to the starport, get it repaired, and then add it into your ship. So from the ground up, I've made all the items and modules in the game able to be put into cargo holds, which is pretty fun. And then on top of that, what that also adds in is different types of cargo pods. I didn't play StarFlight 2, but apparently there are different cargo pods in StarFlight 2, which is really cool. So I have what I have here so far is the basic cargo pod right here. This is your standard cargo pod, 500 to buy, 500 to sell, 50 volume, right? Mass 10. And then maybe like later on with research or maybe just time, you can buy cargo pods that hold a little bit more, right? For a little bit more money. And they weigh a little bit more, so that will weigh your ship down. And then I've always thought it'd be really cool to have specialized pods, like an Endurium pod, which is this one right here, where it'll hold more than a normal cargo pod, but at the cost, and maybe even a little bit cheaper than something very similar to it. But it doubles the amount of Endurium you can put into that cargo hold. And I've got a cool this fun little description. I'm no spoiler. Like who's watching this and not played StarFlight? But using pulsed magnetic implosion, the pod hypercompresses Endurium to allow for extra volume. So it's ideally, or the idea is it's the same amount as or same size as a regular pod, but it pushes Endurium specifically. It compresses it together. And because of that extra pressure, there's a subtle high-pitched ringing that emanates when compressing the Endurium. So kind of like a wink there. And then I always found it interesting how you would just place an artifact into a cargo hold and it just worked somehow. Like you just place, I forget the artifact that does this, but that the one that boosts your lasers, and just somehow it just magically does that. It's almost magical, which kind of always bothered me. So I thought, what might be kind of a cool concept is that in order to use an artifact, you have to have a pod that gives that artifact an interface to the ship's systems. So like you can find them, place them in your cargo hold, but they don't actually give you any benefit until you interface it with a system with an artifact pod. So what's kind of the choices there is it takes up a cargo pod spot, right? You have to choose between, do I want more cargo, or do I take up a cargo pod slot to power and use an artifact? So if you have want to use 4 artifacts on your ship, you have to buy 4 pods that each allow 1 artifact to interface with the ship. And so I'm kind of playing around with that idea. I kind of like that idea because later on in late game, like you have 16 cargo pods and you're not really mining anymore once you have all the money. But if you are, it's kind of a trade-off. You have to make choices, right? And then maybe you can do you do a cargo hauling mission, or you do a cargo hauling trip. So you remove the artifact pods, and then you give up some of the benefits they bring in order to bring in more cargo back home. That's kind of the idea that I'm playing with there. And then I've had some ideas for reactors and capacitors and RCS and sensor differences and all of that. I'm going to worry about that later. But again, this whole thing is just to set up the idea that all these items can be placed in cargo pods. So I'm doing that, or building that from the ground up. And so all that can be changed. I've got a whole bunch of overrides that one can set up if they want to use it. Like say at the beginning of a game, you have a menu system that's like, do I want to use like kind of OG settings, or do I want to use the Genesis settings, or do I want to kind of integrate some of the newer stuff that's going on? So yeah, I wanted to add some flexibility and some customization to the whole experience for everyone. So that's kind of the idea with all that. So that's the item database. Flux database is very, very similar. The original information is all here, again, with a custom dictionary that can be used to add stuff later if needed. It all gets transferred or put into Godot resources. Makes it really easy for the engine to interpret and see what's going on. What else is there? And then vessels database is way, I don't have anything in there. This is going to be the thing I need the most help with is the race database. A lot of the basic stuff is out there. Like, you know, you can make your crew members and they have like their starting initial like science stuff at like, say we've got human starts off with 50, but it maxes out at 250. Like this stuff is everywhere. The learn rate, durability, the race type, the average weight, that's all readily available everywhere. However, I was reading through some of the documents from the original. I'm not sure where they got them from, but it seemed like the original kind of game documents, and they mentioned things like all of these constants that I have here. These are mostly just for my own notes for what I might design later. But each race had a different EDL A, EDL B. What these are is like, you know, you'd have an encounter, and depending on how you would respond, you know, they get more friendly, or they get more hostile, or they get more neutral, whatever. That graph, for that was 0 to 100, apparently was different for every race. And there was like an aggressiveness ratio, there's a surrender ratio, and all this stuff, I think was Greg Johnson? I don't have to double check, but he responded to me on Discord, which was really cool. And he said he lost all that stuff in a fire, which is so sad. It's so unfortunate. So I'm wondering if there's anybody else out there that might have this information from the game. I don't know if we are able to dig it out of the original files or whatever, but that'd be really, really helpful. And then I just made a whole bunch of notes as to what all this stuff is supposed to mean. So that information I don't have yet, and I'm not sure where to get it, but that's fine. I can come back to that some other day. But yeah, this is the race database. I've got all the different races that are in the game, and all their various and the behavior stuff. I've set them all just to basic settings because we don't have that information. And then I've put into, again, kind of working from the ground up, I've put into the game an ability to put in custom races if needed, or if you allowed it, you could put a Gazertoid into your crew, or you could put an Ulek into your crew, or a Spemen even. That's all available in the game files. Should that be a thing we ever decide to do. So, and then even just the portrait stuff, that could be like custom stuff if someone wants to mod it. All right, so let's go to the title screen, and let's hope nothing breaks here because it's been a while since I've done this. Where is my title screen? Right here. Okay. So, oh yeah, this is a little on the outdated side, but okay. I'm gonna run this, see if this works. I don't think I have music right now. Yeah, we got the Sega Genesis flash in, and then the menu system is very different. I've added this Genesis remake thing. I have added in these planets. They kind of on a slow rotation. There's a parallax effect when you move the mouse around. Usually these things in the title screen, the original Genesis title screen, were static, and I don't even think this planet was there. There's that, which is kind of cool. The sound effect for the original Genesis sound effect. I'm also designing this from the ground up to be both mouse friendly and controller friendly, which I think is important. So I can have the mouse over here and then use like the A QWERTY stuff, W, ASD to move around the menus. And that broke already. I have to figure out how that's why that's happening. Interesting. Yeah, pretty typical stuff. And then that will take you to, I think I showcased this in the previous stream, but the station world I'm really proud of. So check this out. When you get to the station scene, and hopefully this all works. Of course not. What is happening here? All right, let's do, oh yeah. This totally changed. This past week, I completely revamped how the cargo system works. So what I've got here is the cargo volume display, which is a UI element here. So in the original game, it was just a white bar that filled up as you got more cargo. What I've done is I've set it up in a way that you can see each individual cargo pod's cargo percentage, right? And on top of that, I've added it so any Endurium that's in your cargo hold will be represented by an orange bar. So when I used to play the Genesis game, there'd be like a white bar, say you had just a couple of cargo pods, and you'd have the black empty space. And you could never look at your cargo and tell how much fuel is taking up space. So I've added an orange bar to help out with that. So what I'm going to do is, well, while we're here, since that's something I just changed, I'm going to fix this issue, which shouldn't be too much of an issue. But check this out. I don't know if you guys have seen this yet, but here's that scene right from the Genesis, the hallway scene. And what I've done is I've given myself the ability to change how it looks or how the offsets work. So up here in the top right, I can change where that ceiling sits if I really, really need to, or where that middle, that background or middle ground really is sitting, and it affects everything else. So what's kind of cool about this is these lines that you see here. This isn't done in 3D. It really looks like it using some tricks that the original Genesis did to make this scene look 3D. I'm using here. If it wasn't for these slanted lines, this would not look as 3D as it does. It's those slanted lines that give the parallax effect, and then this foreground moving a little bit faster back and forth. So I have the ability, if I need to adjust things for the camera if I need to or whatever. And I think that took me a bit of work, but we got it locked in, and I like how it looks. Now, you can't see it in the game yet because we're not sorry. You can see it in the game. You can't see it now, but what I've got, the reason there's some space down here, you can see there's we get the floor out of there. There's some open space down here. I'm not sure how thick the ceiling and the roof was for the spaceport. The reason that's open is as you're in the hallway going back and forth, you'll actually be able to see Arth, the planet Arth, rotating or coming past the bottom like the spaceport is spinning, which I thought was kind of a cool effect. And then we'll have windows over here and some open spots over here, just to give a sense that you are in a spaceport that's rotating. So I thought it'd be kind of fun. And then I can add like little things down here, maybe ships flying by or tugboats or something. Anyway, let's fix this this issue, which I was not anticipating, but now definitely a thing. Okay. So cargo manager. There you go. I changed these methods around a bit. this for? Okay, that's pretty straightforward. I'll write a method for that. I didn't. Back here. Yeah, let's see if this works. Probably won't, but give it a shot. Since everyone's watching. Okay. So check this out. We're in the station. We're moving back and forth. Right, here's Arth, taken from the Genesis game. I need to fix it up a bit eventually, but that's what it's going to look like. Hopefully this gives the sense to the player that you're actually in a space station that's rotating. If you'll notice, the player, the sprite is slightly different as well. It used to have just kind of 3 frames of animation. I gave it a 4th one, as well as fixed up a little bit of the hands to make them look more like fists. And you can see right here the torso is slightly rotating as well, just to give it just a little bit more life to it. One other thing is when you're able to enter a room, these lights light up a bit. So you can see like, hey, now you can enter the trade depot. You can see down here, check out the cargo amounts down here. Notice how it's orange. And I think there's a little sliver of white in there because I've got 2 tests going on right now. The orange is how much Endurium the cargo has. And the slight sliver of white is a little bit of aluminum that I'm using to test the trade depot. So let's go to the trade depot. So I've got 20 Endurium here. And this is in setup. This is what I wanted to work on today, is get this all set up. This is showing the sell menu, so I'm going to have to fix this up in a bit. Shipyard. Let's check out the shipyard while we're at it. So taking some ideas from some of my favorite kind of like design, what do I want to say here? Kind of like customizing games for consoles. Again, trying to stick with the kind of a console feel. Armored Core 6 and Chrome Hounds, if anyone remembers that. What was the other inspiration for this? Forget off the top of my head, but I really wanted to feel like you could customize your ship. So ship modules, I'll have individual, I'll have the ship here so you can see the changes, and then each module or class will have its own look. So this is what I would picture for class 5, but that's all I have right now because it's a quick drawing. One thing I didn't like about the original ship construction menu, both an OG and the Genesis, they had this weird thing where you had to sell something before installing a new one. There's no buy or sell menu here. It's just you can choose whatever one you want, and it'll tell you right here how much it is. So say if I get engine class 3 here, boom. And now if I go to class 2, if I switch to class 2, I'll get this amount back. So it does all the calculations in the background for you. Plus it gives a little more information, right? So I didn't even realize back in the day that different engine types or classes had different Endurium per coordinate usage, which is listed right here. So as you get higher in classes, it's using less Endurium. I didn't know that was a thing back in the day. So I wanted a way to be able to see exactly why I'm choosing each class or each module is what I'm going to be calling it. And and I've even have room for description. These are just silly descriptions that I put in there for testing purposes. I have some shields, so this will look kind of silly that there's not much happening here, but on the actual ship, what I've done in Asprite is like made it so that every component, every like shields or armor or whatever will change the ship in a certain way or make it look different. So hopefully by the end of a playthrough, your ship looks cooler than it did at the very start. Yeah, HP is here. Same thing for the shields, HP, damage reduction, how much it's going to cost per. Then here's where it's going to be kind of cool is the cargo pods, right? Each one is going to, there's going to be, again, an icon for each one. And then you can choose to select which ones you want to install. So you can see in the bottom right, so check this out. I just installed a cargo pod. In the bottom right, another black box got added. I'll install another cargo pod. Boom, now there's 3 boxes down there. And so that will fill up as you get more cargo. Love that that's working as is. That's great. Okay, so we're in the ship hangar. You can rename the ship. There's the Intrepid. I think that's the original name. The ISS Fox Shadow. Boom. And now it's called the Fox Shadow. Now, change to upgrade the TV. We go here, and all the upgrades from the Genesis version again are here with descriptions and everything. One kind of fun thing, I've thought of a whole bunch of different upgrades for this thing. One being flying circuits, which is just a funny throwback to Back to the Future, where you can maybe push a button and you use up more fuel or energy to maybe hover or fly for a bit if you meet some terrain that's going to be kind of annoying to get past. So I've also thought of a bunch of other type of upgrades, like, you know, if you're in a good spot on the planet, maybe you can, you have solar panels, so you can gain some energy back slowly over time at the expense of having to wait. But with that said, I've developed the time manager, the class that kind of like, manages the date and the time and updates everything as it ticks. I thought it'd be really cool that time plays an element in this game because you are on the clock. You're trying to figure out the mystery as to why things are happening. And there'll be instances in the game where time will go faster, like in hyperspace, but there'll be times where time is a bit slower when you're on planets. And then maybe there's like a button that you could press that's like skip a couple hours or skip a couple days for waiting purposes. Where that becomes relevant is in the original game when you didn't have a high navigator skill set, you would go through a flux and you come out the other end. You had no idea where you were. The navigator needed time to figure out where you guys were. And I'm not sure how much that affected the gameplay so much, but I was wondering if it would be a cool thing to, put in some sort of, I don't know, kind of, what do you want to call it? An obstacle or a gameplay feature where it's like you come out the other end, you have no idea where you are, so you make the decision to wait 2 or 3 hours to figure that, for your navigator to figure that out before proceeding. So you add in some sort of time penalty, like, you push time 2 or 3 hours forward and say like the navigator took 2-3 hours to figure out where you were. Now you may proceed or something like that. I don't know. I was just thinking through that'd be kind of cool. Let me pull up Asprite because I want you guys to see this. So let me pull it up. One sec. So I've been going through so many different iterations of how the ship is going to look in the game. I'm just going to go through. So this is what I had in my videos prior to this one, is this little rendition that I did a long time ago at this point. But I'm playing around with different like engine lengths and sizes. I call this the head or the bridge. Different variations on what the armor looks like. This one is close to, what version was it? What version has this kind of look to it? Doesn't matter. Anyways, I scoured the internet for different versions of the Intrepid and tried to follow. I tried to design so like an internal or an interior map based on how the exterior is. So you'd have like the reactor and like where the TV, the terrain vehicle sits in the ship, and this area you wouldn't be able to get to because it's mostly just engine. And playing around with different looks. There's a whole bunch of stuff in here. So if we go to the shields, go here. So when you get an engine shield class 1, you'll just see this on your ship as you're flying around. Then you go to level 2, it's a little bit bigger. Level 3, a little bit bigger. Level 4, then level 5. It kind of looks like that. Now that might not seem like much, but once you add in like different armor levels, different weapons, different engine classes, it's going to get pretty busy pretty quick. So I figured, I'll start with something simple. So anyways, I'm still playing around with how I want that to look. Let me just pull up the terrain vehicle stuff, because that stuff I'm pretty pumped about. Where is it? Okay, the ATV. So this is taken directly from the Genesis game with a few modifications by yours truly. So here's the body with some slight changes by me to, I forget what the changes. Oh, I have the OG right here. So this is what it looked like in the Genesis game. Just straight, like, I drew over it, made sure that it was pixel perfect. This is how the original game looked right here. And then I changed it to add a little bit more front end to it and to give it a little more definition. Now, what's kind of fun about this is if I go to the tread animation. So the original had this kind of balloon shape to the treads. I always thought this kind of looked funny because it made them look like balloons. So I have that look there, but I also have my own adjustment which flattens out the front and the back to make it look more like tank treads. Which personally, this might be blasphemous, but I like that look way better than this rounded look. So if we're going to go with that look with the spinning wheels here, spinning treads, the ice runners, right? So we can go over ice a little bit better. And we have snow treads, which I just added a couple pixels on top of here. I looked at a bunch of different examples of snow treads, like for tanks, and it was hard to make them stand out in any way. So I just put a bunch of extra black pixels on it to make it look more grittier. Get rid of that for now. Pontoons. Pontoons are weird because how do you put the pontoons too high? Like if you think of the z-axis or height, or y-axis, depending on who you're talking to, you want the pontoons. Wouldn't you want the pontoons on the same level as the tires? In the original game, they just put the pontoons over top the treads, kind of like this. And it kind of looks funny, makes it look like but if the pontoons sit too high, then the ship is submerged. So, oh well. I'll just go with that for now. Then mineral scanner 2. And then the extra cargo. Right? Let's put it all on there. Pontoons. This thing starts looking a little cooler. The turbochargers. And then the radar. And that's what your TV would look like. Oh, there's also like the 3, what is it called, the wide. It's like a spread shot. I haven't done that yet. Yeah, that's what the ATV kind of looks like. One upgrade I've added in is a fuel tank upgrade, so that when you go out with this extra fuel tank, you'll just be able to last longer when you're out driving around. So that looks like this. Very simple. Not looking to overcrowd it, but that's how it looks. And then one thing I'm really proud of, I really like how this looks, the heavy armor. In the original game, the Genesis version, they took this, what looks like a hatch to me in the original Genesis game, and the heavy armor upgrade made this look like a turret. I'm not sure if that was intentional or if I'm just missing. It looked really weird to me, and I don't know what it was meant to be. So what I did instead was the heavy armor upgrade went from looking like a turret add-on to this, which I thought was really cool. The wind, I want to say the windshield, the cockpit, the canopy, that's the one, has some extra, support. The front has some, buffering, some extra plating, and also the sides has some extra plating as well, which I think makes sense for heavy armor. So, and there's a bunch of other things that I could do as well to that to make the heavy armor make it look thicker. But yeah, all upgraded, it would look something like this on the radar. Yeah, pretty beefy little thing. It makes the profile look a little too square, but I don't know. I think it'd be fun to be able to see the difference of your TV from the beginning of the game to the end of it by adding all these little guys on there. So that's all in the game. All those upgrades are there with their own sprites. So as you and then in the game, when you're actually on planets, you will see the TV like this, upgraded with all the stuff on it. So it does affect the in-game sprite. Cargo, turbo, heavy armor, radar. Going the snow treads just for funsies. And then, oh yeah, then after all that, let's take off all this stuff. Let's see what the flying circuits look like. So the flying circuits look like, oh, what the? Is it below? Why does this not look good? Oh, that's because this is showing. So the flying circuits. Oh yeah, so this is, okay. So I'm just trying to navigate my A-Sprite file here. The flying circuits, just like the DeLorean from Back to the Future, make the tire treads go to 90-degree angles, pushes them out. I actually had an animation for this in another file. And then does this. You press a button and you go into flying mode for a couple of seconds or for however long, and you can just fly around. And it just burns more energy. Burns through your energy reserves faster. So then you go back to normal after that. Back to this. So that's kind of the idea. So yeah, the flying circuits. Some fun animation here. Okay. Okay. All right, let's get back to doing some coding. So that's all in here. Yeah, I'll eventually put the sprites in here so that when you add the upgrade into the TV, it'll be represented up here. One thing that I also added in was just the additional option to name the terrain vehicle if you wanted. No gameplay stuff related to that, but I just thought it'd be kind of cool because you can name your ship. Why not be able to name your TV something cute and fun if you wanted? So maybe there'd be fun references to it, like take out the little, if you want to name it the little bug or something. I don't know. You could just have some of the crew members talk about it or something. There you go. There's the shipyard in its current form to be worked on still. Okay, let me double check this cargo display thing. It's just me, but I feel like I can see like a little white maybe I'm just crazy. Okay. Go around with this some other time. One other thing that I noticed is that this did not update. Let me double check that. So, what did I purchase? Go over here, shipyard, buy a module. Something to break. Okay. Oh, that's weird. Activate room was not called. Like, huh. Okay, let's look at the MU bar. This was not updating. Uh, oh, that's why this is new. Heck. Try that. Station world. Let's see if this all works. So the goal is here is to see this change when I buy something. Not change at all. I'm going to look it through here. New Balance is 9 there, and it did not change. So I wonder if... Oh, the Moo Manager, New Balance. But it didn't... Huh. Check out that Moo Manager. There. That's working. So, add Moo, change. Don't. That why it's not working. Hmm. Do this instead. Unmoo changed. Check the signal here, because what I think is happening, this is being called, and this needs an amount, but it's getting two amounts. I need to change that so it receives both. I'm assuming that's the issue. So what is the, it's like amount, there's a delta, I think. Wait, if we go back to Moo Manager, what is it sending here? Current amount and then the change in the amount. So, I'll update variable new amount is the amount. Don't need to do anything there. And then we won't even use the delta amount. Probably for something else. Okay, so it's an int. That int. Yeah, we're not working with fractional currency, so it says an int. Won't even use the delta amount. Connect it to the appropriate. Okay, let's see how that works. Go and buy something. See if it changes. There we go. Now I can see how much Moo we have left. have enough for shields. It's updating this. Acceleration and mass is also being affected every time I add armor or shields, whatever. That's changed. That's changed. That's now changed. Let's add some cargo pods. So let's watch the cargo pods go up, and then the acceleration decline because the mass increases, and my move should go down. And this should go up. Yeah, this is decreasing. Yeah, that's all changing now. We'll keep going. Cool. That's all working now. And even for this install cargo pod menu we have here is, I was thinking it'd be kind of cool to one day be able to choose which position you want the cargo pod in, right? Like you could choose, like, I want to place my Endurium pods in these positions, and I think it looks better if the cargo pod is in position 1 and 3 and then 5 and 7 or something. But again, something for another day. So uninstalling cargo pods. I can use the mouse as well. Decreasing. Good. Stop me right here. Yeah, I can't sell any more pods. Okay. Yeah, this is now working. This is paused, so it's not changing. Cool. Okay, now this is the bug that I need to figure out because something weird is going on here. Keeps defaulting. It shouldn't be going here. Right? We're getting stuck here. Right? Is it request install module, which we're doing. But then if it's thinking we're trying to buy a cargo pod. So what's happening is, like, if you look here, button 0, button 1, button 2, button 3. I'm pressing button 3. But there's no button for that in the cargo pod menu. So it's like it's looking for a cargo, but it shouldn't want to look for the cargo pod. So I don't know why it's wanting to call it engines. It's called engines here. Called engines. I'll just select a type called engines. So why is it getting stuck on this? I'll just type. Okay, let's try to get that bug again. See if it happens if I'm not in the station or go straight to the room manager. Because Production. Should be working. What am I missing here? Okay, engine class 3. Boom. That works. That's fine. Back out. Go back in. Get modules. We're in the engine settings. And all of a sudden it just threw us over to the shields for some reason. Okay, back out. So weird. Okay, what's going on here? Set module selector type to placed engine class 2. Armor. What's going on here? This is the not as fun part about fun part. Not as fun element to game dev is figuring out these weird little bugs. Let's do it again. Good. Good. Back to index 3. We leave, because it only happens when I leave. So, and then I go back in. I need to put an extra thing in here. Okay, that's working. Okay. I was acting weird before. Oh, I can't afford it. Let's uninstall the armor. Uninstall the engines. Our ship is going nowhere. Let's do this. Let's go to cargo pod. Buy a couple cargo pods. It seems to happen with the cargo pod. So escape. Go back in. We're now in engines. This. Why did this get called? Not just like called. That's interesting. There's the break. Okay. Why is this happening? Okay, so this shouldn't be. Why is this being called? No idea. We're going to add in some debugging stuff to figure this out. I'm going to log every time. What if I should call. Huh. Is there a previous button? Module menu, module selection system type. Currently selected module. Currently installed module. Every time we get into the room, which is the activate room is called whenever we come in, and this should set us up. This should be button in. Hmm. I don't know what's going on. Game dev for you. Not that one. Station World. Okay. Activate room was called. Good. module, apply some engines. Then we'll go to cargo pod. Notice when we switch over to cargo pod, this is called, which is what I want in the print statements. So here it's not called. Then you move over to here, the cargo pod. It is called this little counter. So it's interesting that if I install a pod or something, I back out and go back in, ship modules. This is called, even though I'm being set module selector system type called engines. Wait, room. So this is weird, and I don't know why that's happening. So that's what we're going to have to find out, is why this little bit is being called when we're on the engine thing here. Okay, so if you look up here, activate room, called, set the menu state, good. All the modules, and the first thing we do, new module selector type says, well, button index will probably be, what was it? Yeah, 0. Clear everything out. Set everything up. All looking good. Button index should be 0. What am I missing here? It's called, right? Yes. Yeah, it gets called right here, and it's set to engines. So here. Update. Set module selector. Hmm. Maybe because this is set to the current one rather than the new one. Let's try this. This is probably what's going on. Let's just try it. Set up buttons. Match the new module. No. And where's this updated? All next. That's fine. Oh, it's only called next. All previous, which is good. Quest in okay. That module. Well, next does this, but this doesn't do it. That's thing. I guess I could just put it in here. Would that make more sense? Be like, this is what sets it. So module selector system type equals new module selector system type. I mean, it doesn't affect anything down here, but that's what makes the most sense. Really, this should be here. Oops, not that. Boop. Get rid of that. Right? That makes sense, right? Pull that. Copy it in there. Get rid of you. If it doesn't do anything, you just default down to this. Yeah, this is, so this module selector system type equals something should be nowhere, shouldn't be anywhere except for within this method. I'm gonna make sure I find none of these. I should see like 2 matches here, or unless it's an if. Good. Okay, let's see if that fixes it, because we were setting things out of order before. See how that goes. Go in, buy some engines, buy a couple pods. This pops up, so that's good. Back out, go back in. Hey. There we go. Okay, so that's all that was going on. Whew. Welcome to GameDev. Okay. Fixed a little bug. That's good. Now onto the main thing for this stream. I'll need to end an hour. Okay. So I want to get the trade depot going, and the buying thing works well. So here's all the very classic. One thing I would like to do is to arrange these items in order of their value. Where's OBS here? Need to make sure you guys really hear that classic sound effects. There you go. You like that? So great. Okay, so you can see here that the value is all over the place. It's by It's arranged by element ID, which is also alphabetical. What I want to do is arrange. You know what? I'll do that later. Let's just get everything onto the board and work on navigating the main box. I'm not sure if I even need this title. Maybe it'd just be good to have the buy, sell thing, and then you can go in and see things. Okay, let's do this. Call menu state. So menu state. New menu state. Menu state. We're going to do something. Menu state dot buy. We'll do something. Menu state dot sell. We'll do something. So the main, we get the, where are you? Of the want menu box. Ba-bum, ba-da-bum-bum. Main menu box. Get references to those two things. Then the main, we want a menu box. Fractals focusable. Box. Definitely make it visible. Ooh. The box. By will equal false. Cell dot visible false. And then want menu box line focus. Okay. Then when we push the buy, when we switch to the buy state, I want all these, copy and paste these. Oop. Except I want to make this unfocusable. We can leave those, but I want the buy one to now be true, assign focus. And then I want to update. Well, the lists will have already been updated, so I don't need to update them again. I just need to see it. That's true. And then by, what I want here. Yeah, assign focus to by menu box. Okay, then we go here. This is now hidden. True. And we want to assign focus to cell menu box. Hey, Ronnie Santana. Hello. Looks like hello. Your work seems great. How long have you been coding? I've been coding maybe a year, maybe a year and a half. I'm still pretty brand new to this whole thing. I'm learning a lot and trying my best to make this little thing, make this little game of mine happen. As a love letter to a game that I loved growing up, which is StarFlight. So made a lot of mistakes. This is the second or third attempt I've made to try to recreate this classic as a love letter, but yeah, through lots of hard work and mistakes, I've learned a lot. So I appreciate you think it looks great. So that's good. Welcome to the stream. Okay, so we've assigned focus to the correct spots. And then we've updated the thing. Now we need to make the buttons all that. So here's that button. Here. Wait, do I need this? They're connected here, right? Yeah. Okay. Instead of that, I'm gonna bring you my stock, connect signals. PD main menu box dot actable pressed will provide the button and the trigger. Connect on main menu button pressed. How about that? Is roll and then connected it to that. Been months for me, and I'm struggling to write a single line of coding. Where did you learn? Lots of YouTube, lots of streamers. I just watch what other guys are doing, try to absorb as much info as I can, and hope I can glean what I can. And then it's just diving in and trying stuff out, and learning what you can. I mean, there's one time I was trying to write a code for simply moving my character left and right, and it took like 50 lines of code because I had no idea what I was doing. And then I watched a video. I think it's Game Endeavor on YouTube. His YouTube channel is Game Endeavor, and one of his earliest videos was he showed a code for moving left and right. And it was only 2 lines of code, and it blew my mind. It was a moment where I was like, "That is art." It took me 50 lines to do this thing, and then he just was like, "Oh yeah," and then to handle movement, you just use these 2 lines here, and I was like, "Oh, that is genius." It blew my mind. So yeah, just a lot of watching videos and trying to learn what I can. And at some points, you can't get stuck in analysis paralysis or tutorial hell. You just got to dive in, make mistakes, and try things out. So yeah, that's all I can say. There's no secret formula. It's just hard, just getting your hands dirty. And I'm not going to claim to be a guru in any way. I'm not like a genius on this stuff. I'm still learning. So yeah. Oh, where? Okay. So if it's coming from, I've connected my main menu box to this method, and I know that if it's 0, it's the buy button. So if interactable index 0, and then if interactable index, you can also use a match statement here. This could also be a little bit more elegant, but probably could, but who cares? Here we're gonna change or call menu state. Menu state dot buy, and that should be all we need because we use that button. So when the buy button is pressed, it is index 0, so it will call the buy menu state, and the menu state looks like this right here. This is what that's going to look like. And then when the cell state, the menu state dot cell is called, it's going to look like this. And then to get back to the main state, you press escape. And I'll need to put in some button there for controllers to hit. So Let's see if this works. Okay, so whoops. So it started in the state as you see it, right? So this is the buy. No, not that one. If we look for it, the buy window is here on the left side here. The buy window is open, and the sell window is here. I'm going to make both invisible because that's kind of the starting state. But instead of always having to, kind of the pain about this is if I'm editing something on the screen here, I will always have to reset this back to where I want it to be. So instead of having to do that every time, what I can actually set up is on this ready function here, or even on the activate room. This should be here anyways. Activate room, we will call menu state dot main. Activate room just means is the method that's called whenever you're walking in the hallway of the station and you enter into a room. This method is called, so this will be good. And then even on the ready, I can call it here too, so that everything's ready to go. It'll be in the state that we want it to. So let's see what that looks like. Get ready. Boom, we're here. Okay, got these two buttons. Hit buy. We get the buy menu. Perfect. And this is now disabled, which is great. Hit escape, brings us back. Hit sell. This is what's in our cargo hold. Perfect. Love it. Awesome. Whew. Love it when systems work, man. So good. Ronnie Santana. Oh, that's so funny. Man, I'll give that a try. I made several games using GDevelop 5, but I'm trying Godot now for a few months and it is pretty nice. Yeah, I've heard Godot. I'm not very experienced with other engines. I just know Godot, so I've heard it's beginner friendly, which is why I picked it up, and it's been fantastic. Just one more question. You got a great art as well. How did you learn about that? Being a solo developer is hard. Yes, it is, but I don't want to bother you much. You seem focused in what you are doing. Yeah, sorry if I'm not paying as much attention to the chat. I try to respond when I can. But how did you learn the art? Are you talking about the A-Sprite stuff, like the sprite work? Again, it's just like everything else. I don't take a pill in the morning. I don't, spray some sort of creative cream on my hands to make things work. It's just sit down, watch some videos, learn from as many different YouTube videos as you can. Streamers, ask questions of them. I guess that's what I'm doing. And then just get down there and practice. So even like this stuff with the ATV. The nice thing about this is people have gone before me. I copied this body from the OG Genesis. Let me see if I can make this isolated here. Yeah, this is like the OG. Why is this moving? Sorry, one sec. There's another thing on here. You know what I mean? Like I've taken this and like drawn over top of it. Right, so this isn't entirely mine. That said, all of this stuff is almost entirely mine. And it's just practice and just looking at a bunch of concept art and different pictures of the ships of across various games and fan-made projects, and just kind of trying to figure out a vibe that I like. But yeah, it's just practice, man. I don't have there's not a big conspiracy or big secret out there about how to get better at stuff. It's just practice and trying stuff out and not being afraid to fail. Hopefully that gets you going. I would just say just keep coding, making those mistakes and learning from them. Okay. What are we going to do next? So the next thing I want to test out is when I click the buy button, when I buy an element, does that element get put into the cargo hold? And then does the sell menu update appropriately? So right now I have no functionality for buying stuff. So I need to make that happen. So to do that, What do I need to do here? No, it gets added to this. This is called here. Here it is. Okay. I'll buy action. Just for fun, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just call. I do this. I want to just do like a testing thing. I want to kind of test this out. So let's do this. Let's. Do I have the item here? I don't have on item button pressed. Da, 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 da. I need to call it in a method. Don't have. Better. Button isn't have a button yet. Update labels. Thing has. I make an item bar. I need a way to track the item bars that I'm making. Make that happen. What is this item data change? Because the item shouldn't. The item itself shouldn't change. How can I make this happen? I see. Just practice and absorbing from others. Thanks for the info, man. Hopefully your game is a great one. Have fun coding. Thanks, man. Thanks for checking out the stream. Appreciate that. And have fun with yours. I hope everything goes well with your project. And you have a lot of fun doing it. Hopefully it's not a slog. I think that's one of the things you got to watch out for is you don't want to be doing stuff just because it's, especially for a hobby. It needs to be fun. So as long as you're having fun. Okay. So the cool thing is I've got this menu, this custom menu box class where I get the index of the items, but it doesn't transfer the items. So what I'll need to do is, as it's being added, where am I adding the buttons? Dateless. Here we go. Add interactable. That's good. And we go. Go selected item. Data. No. Escape. And then is there something for that? Trying to think of if I've already written some code for this. I have not. So on, what I want is by menu box interactable pressed connect All transaction. The method I can initiate transaction or start transaction. We'll rename this later. So provide full index. We'll provide the button itself. I don't think I need. Wait a sec. Because it's a menu bar. Sorry, it's an item bar. It should have. Okay, one sec. So interactable, press on this one. Start transaction. Sell menu button. Now what's kind of cool is this work. Provide a button in itself, but it does provide the what we'll need to start transaction. Okay, so we get the index of the button. If menu state equals buy sell, then we'll know what list we're getting stuff from of our item bar. Equals, since we're in the buy state, I can just go to the buy VBox container get tiled index. Yeah, that should work. And then currently, our current, what did I name it up here? It's selected item. Selected item equals item bar dot. Is there a get item? Get. Item data. Cool. Look at that. Where is it? Item bar right here. I have a method for getting the item from it. Item button, no. I just have the item data. That's fine. All ways. What are these things complaining about? Can't find member pressed. Oh. Oh, my bad. Back to bull press. Okay. So we get the buy menu sends a signal that a button was pressed. We can use the index that it gives to get the child of the VBox container. It has a Trade Depot item bar, which will provide the item that's been selected. I know it's kind of involved, but it'll hopefully work. And then we can do an attempt buy item. And we don't have a way for the player to choose how much at this point. So what I'll do is I'll just attempt buy item. Let's just say 10 units of that. Selected item. All right, so that'll give us 10 units, and I can do the same thing down here, except attempt sell item, 10 units of that one. V-box, and this needs to be the sell V-box. Okay, a little hacky, a little quick, but hopefully that works. I don't even know if that'll work. Okay, buy. Yeah, I'm gonna buy 10. Let's see if this works. Not at all. Okay, that's okay. Yeah, that's fine. What happened here? Okay, attempting to buy 10. 10 requested, but only negative 999 in stock. Continuing though with stock. Oh, I see what's going on. Okay, so I have this in the trade depot. Anytime you can see here, it's unlimited, right? It's set to unlimited. There's a check that I have that if there's not enough stock, and requested, but only negative 999 in stock. Continuing with stock amount. Yeah, there's something funky going on there. But basically, this is set to unlimited, and I just picked a random number like negative 99999, because who's ever going to buy that amount to indicate that it's unlimited? Fortunately, that's affecting me here. Right? Yeah, right here, unlimited. Let's make that positive. That might be better. Let's just see how that works. You want to buy that. Attempted to buy 10 aluminum, requested volume 10, negative 20, available volume, can't fit 10 aluminum into your ship. And I'm not trying to buy aluminum, I wanted to buy cobalt. Lithium? One spot off, what the? Not enough room for titanium? What? That's weird. Oh, I see. It's because this header's there. Okay, so that's not going to work. That's not going to work because the headers, and I don't have to account for headers. Okay, so I want to do it the hacky way. Hacky way is not working. That's fine. Let's do something a little bit more nicer here. Where is... Yeah, okay. So when we make a new item bar, I have... Put it here. Buy item bars. We'll just put it here. This will be way better. Or, no, I can... oh, sorry, guys. I'm thinking of things on the fly here. We can get, instead of doing this whole weird, get the child of the blah, 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 blah. We get the index from... That won't work either. Okay, let's go back to... Just save it here. Let's just cache it here. Buy item bars. Array of item. What's happening if that didn't make sense? Going on was I would click here on cobalt, but it would try to buy aluminum, right? What's happening is this is actually an item bar here. This elements header is what I'm calling it. So this is actually index 0. But as far as buttons are concerned, this is index 0 and this is index 1. So the button is like, hey, I'm index 1 button. Can you call the index 1 material? The index 1 material is aluminum in this case because this goes 0, 1, 2. But as far as the buttons are concerned, it's 0, 1, 2. So it's off by 1. What happened there? So let's... and you could say, well, why don't you just add a +1? But that just becomes fragile, you know? It isn't as... what do you call it? You guys getting weird sound effects? stuff. Check 1, 2. Okay. Looks like you're doing fine. Okay. What was I just talking about? We'll just cache the item bars here, and then we can clear them out every time. So when we initialize the update lists, when we update lists, we get the buy item bars clear, sell item bars clear. And anytime we add a child to the VBox, we will also add it to the bars. Append. Buying. One for the selling. Yeah. Then instead of having to go get the child of the VBox container, we can just say buy item bars. What? Is that a yeah. A little more cleaner. A little safer too. And I can say all that, and it might not work. let's see if it actually works. So aluminum, attempting by aluminum. Okay, so that's fixed. We still haven't fixed the weird requesting and -20, whatever that means, but at least it's registering as aluminum now. Promethium, good. Titanium, good. Okay. Now let's take a look at what my little thing is saying. Attempting to buy 10 to requested volume 10, which is greater than -20 available volume. Why is it -20? -20. So that's the cargo volume. Go check out the cargo manager. Okay. ST minus plus T. Oh, I see what's going on. Well, that's silly of me. Let's get rid of the TV stuff for now. Yeah, I have to account for the TV volume, and I haven't set that up appropriately yet. Put a note here, like for add TV volume here when in V. Make a note for myself later on. Okay. So what it was doing was just thinking I had the TV or the terrain vehicle cargo available. And that is not the case at all. So let's see what it does now. I want to buy 10 cobalt. Nope, I was totally wrong. Can't fit. Rest of volume is 10. There's -20 available volume. Something funny is happening. Capacity plus 20 added. Current cargo capacity is 50. Current cargo volume is 20. Okay, so obviously I'm just doing my math wrong somewhere. I'm just doing terrible math. Let's figure this out. So it should be here. Capacity, get... Oh. Ship general. Why am I minusing the ship? This ends up being 0. What the heck? Oh, that's silly of me. Okay, this does not need to be here. Get ship journal recipe. Available volume is the capacity minus the ship. Okay, that work. Aluminum. There we go. We've added 10 aluminum. Just look at my logger here. Okay, attempting to buy 10 aluminum. 2200. Yeah, so that's correct. Bought 10 aluminum for 2200 mu. New balance happened. Aluminum added to your ship. Yep, that looks good. Current cargo volume is 30. So we're 30 out of 50. Good. Now, attempting to buy item, attempting to add. The interesting thing is it says here that attempting to buy, it subtracts it and it says attempting here. I think that's just a. I'd rather it be backwards where it attempts to buy. So what is happening here? Where's my attempt to buy thing? Is it here? Where are you? Yeah, attempt to buy item. Attempt to buy blah, 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 blah. Good. Checks everything. Check, 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 check. If can afford equals false. Subtracts. We do all the checks beforehand anyway, so it's not a big deal. However, so all that's happening, why it's kind of, I think it's weird that you spend the money and then attempt to buy the item. I've already done a ton of checks in here, so it should be fine, but I just think it's just visually and logically, it would be better to attempt to add the item first. And what's kind of cool is this add item, cargo manager add item thing will go through each cargo pod and try to add like the aluminum to each one, or sorry, the first one. And if it can't add all that aluminum to the cargo pod, then there's remaining units afterwards. This should be 0 every time. I think just logically it makes sense to do that first. Put the cargo in, find out how much we have left, then subtract it. And we didn't get an error, so it should be fine. Okay. Attempt to buy item, return item. Where is this called? Attempt to buy item. Buy item. Once that's done, then we need to update, start transaction, update lists. Not sure why there's a button index here. Not sure. Okay. Good. Okay, and then that way, if there's a transaction that happens, we'll update everything we see. Okay, let's see how this looks. If everything goes smoothly, I should be able to buy 10 aluminum, which should be 2,200, right? 10 of this is 2,200. Buy that. Good. Now, I'm going to go to the sell, and that aluminum is now in the cargo hold. Great. That's what I want. Now, if I hit sell, buy, now it's removed. And you can see added by trade depot. Yeah, we got our money back, and we sold the 10 aluminum. Balance is back to the amount. Ship cargo is where it should be. That's good. Okay, that all looks good. Okay. Making progress. So one thing, I don't know if you guys noticed, but in that little test, what happened is anytime I clicked a button and the list updated, that's why I had the button index in there. Ha ha ha. Why do I question myself? Why does that happen? The update lists, there was a button index here, right? Because I knew when I first set up this method that if I call the update lists, it gets rid of all of the buttons and all the interactables, repopulates the list, and then what I want to do is at the end assign focus to the button, the same spot as that button. Or if there's no, that button is gone, to assign it to the next available one. So I have to do that next. Where's the assign? Focus. Okay, so this is the cell. File list, cell list. Depending on match menu state dot by. Whoops. Pass menu state dot cell pass and add it back. Then we'll just say item bar. We require it to be focused. How can we do this? How can we do this? I think in this case, I can just focus the interactables. So what I'm going to do is by menu box. Hello, eel Sorry, I have no idea how to say that. There's so eel How's it going? Welcome to the stream. Glad to have you. By menu box. Oh, sign focus. And then we just put the button index here. What did I call it? Button. Glorious. Control, paste, and then this is the cell menu box. Okay. State lists. Find out where this is all being called. Just be, you know what? I'm going to do this. This will just be -1. Because if that's just -1, if button index equals -1, this is a check. What did I do wrong? Button index. Oh yeah, my bad. My bad. Boom. Okay, let's see how that works. Okay, so ideally, I'm going to hit Cobalt. So I'm not going to get my mouse in there. And this can hopefully take me right back to Cobalt. Didn't work, unfortunately. Okay. Okay, what went wrong here? Start trying to update lists. After it's been changed, we're going to update the lists. Then it's going to go through all that stuff. And then assign focus. And verbose assign focus called. It wasn't even called. What the heck? Item bars, adding back the thingies. Okay. Print got here by here. Print sell here. Just random words to help me out. Okay, so buy. Okay, it did happen. Whoops. My mouse out of there. Let's buy some more cobalt. The item bar updated, so you can see it's at 20 metric cubes. Is it metric cubed or cubed meters? 20 cubed meters, which is good. But it's not reassigning focus. That was the buy. Assign focus. Hold. Maybe I have my print logger turned off for these. I do. Okay, what's telling us here? Cobalt. Okay. Focus assigned by here. Assign focus called ID number 1. But nothing is called after that. So there was no errors. Then why? What am I doing here? Focus. Okay. This didn't happen. Huh? First available. This would be call deferred at the end. Yeah, grab for call deferred. Table allow focus. Correct. Same. What happens here? Duck for this. Interesting. Line focus. Line focus. Print for both. Assign focus. Print for most. Assign focus. Disabled interactable. What the? Okay, so this is happening, right? See, by assign focus no one. So it's hitting here. It's not going here because then this would be printed. It's not stopping here because this would be printed. It's not stopping here because this would be printed. It's not hitting here because this would be printed. I'm not getting here because this would be printed. And I'm not even getting here. Let's get what? Maybe the interact is null. Cobalt. It's not even printing. What? Or I and interactables. Going on. Right here. Hmm. not even getting here. Makes no sense to me. Because every one of these outs has a print next to it, right? This is printing something. 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 This is getting printed, so it does get here, right? Like, look, assign focus called ID number, assign focus called blah, 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 blah. So we do get here. What am I missing? There. If it does this and print something, it's here, it's not. Why does that happen? What is going on? I wonder if it's in depot. So what I'm going to do here is I'm assigning. I don't understand what's happening. On button focused. Yeah, it's what is going on here? Okay, let's test this. I'm going to buy line focus number 1. What it should be. Nothing's focused right now. So weird. Now it's 30 and 20, which is maxed out. We shouldn't be able to buy more. Yep. Not buy. Can't fit. Not enough room. Good. Anything from the Moon Manager. Yeah, we just can't fit anything. Okay, now, at least check this while we're here. Okay, so we got 30 here, which is great. Sell, sell, sell. Gone. Updating is happening. However, for some strange reason, the focus isn't coming back. Why is that? Huh. Flat device. I bought 10. Give me 10 of them. Oh, that's funny. Bought 10 flat device. That should not be allowed. Attempting to buy 10 requested, but only 1 in stock. Continuing with stock amount. Trade depot attempting to buy, attempting to add. Trade depot 10 requested, but only 1 in stock. Continue with stock amount. But it's still the one with 10 for some reason. Okay. Attempt to buy. Where is attempt to buy? Not have that in stock. Not buy. That's good. Requested, but only something. Continuing with stock. Units requested. If units requested is greater than stock, units requested equals stock. What I'm going to do. Requested, but only 1 in stock. Units requested should now equal stock, but that doesn't seem to have happened. Volume of units. Print units requested equals. So weird. You bought 10. What? 10 requested, units requested equals 1. Continue with stock amount. Attempting to buy, attempting to add 10. Okay, so at some point in this, where does it get to? Oh, get units requested. So units requested did equal 1, as we can see here. It did change. Okay, has available item. What? What am I missing? I'm missing something here. I have to be missing. Has available volume 4. There it is. Okay. This should just be units. Gotta make sure I watch that. Requested. Don't need you. Now that should work. I want to buy 10 flat devices. You can. Oh, what? Still 10? Units requested. Attempt to buy item. What is happening? Requested, but only 1 in stock. Units requested updated to 1.0 because that's all that there is in stock. Okay, cost. Buy price can afford. Cost. FMU, that was fine. Remaining units equals. So silly how those small little things can lead to so many bucks. Okay, now it should go 1. Yay! There we go. I can only buy 1 of you. Okay, so this is the trade depot. Add item. Debug, units requested. Not enough moo. Go ahead with trans. Attempt to buy item. Good. So we subtract. We remove the remaining. We remove the units requested from the stock. So we go T stock item. Minus equals units requested. Okay. That's at 0. We don't display it. So now I have to go back. Before I do that, I'm going to go to this. Attempt to sell. If item is not element data, we add the units back in. So elements won't add to the stock, but artifacts, you know what, this should just be if item is fact. as item. Depot stock plus equals else. If it has the item, we just add it to it. If it doesn't have the item, we just say that amount of units. Stock. Okay, that means I can go back and forth between the buy menu and the sell menu of artifacts specifically. So let's buy that. Boom. It's out of stock. Cool. I didn't even know it would. I didn't even know it would do that. Cool. I must have programmed that at some point. It's disabled. I can't. Didn't be able to buy it. The available volume has. Sure. Okay. Now if I go back, sell here, boom. That didn't work. Why didn't it work? Transaction, attempt to sell item. As item. Valid call, non-existent function has item. Returning on null. What? I have to do a check if cargo pod equals null. Like, isn't that already checked? That's weird. Now it's yeah. Somehow it still became 10. Okay. So sold added by trust sold 1.0. Flat device. Attempt to sell. Something went funny here. Attempt to sell item. Oh, I attempted to sell 10. No. Okay, so I attempted to sell 10. Is artifact. Oh, I see what's going on here. Okay, so what's happening is I attempted to sell 10 units because I just set up a default 10 for testing purposes. Requested 10. It only found 1, but I didn't account for that here. So what we're going to do is this. If item, we're going to do this. Because we send the units into the subtract item cargo manager, and then it returns the actual amount that's found. Even if this was 1,000. If I requested 1,000, it would come back 1. Because it's like, I want 1,000. Well, I only have 1. Here you go. But I attempted to sell 1,000, and then it just calculated by that amount. So if item has item, then amount actually removed. Amount actually removed was the, okay. So I did it here, just not here. Just so silly of me. Okay, let's see how that looks. Not that button. Okay, boom, out of stock. Sell. Boom. What it look like. Sold one flat device. Good. Balance went back, so we bought it and sold it for the same amount. Okay. Doing good. Now I gotta figure out the freaking... Where is it? It's the assigning of the focus that's not making any sense to me. It makes all the connections. And tries to assign focus called negative. Assign focus called ID6. Whoa, whoa. I put this music back in. Whoa. Whoa. Okay, this playlist is not doing it for me. What are you? Hopefully it's more a little more chill. Okay. Now we gotta figure out the assigning of the focus. So we got buy. When I hit buy, Cobalt, I want it to refocus even after repopulating. That's good. That means it's doing math. But if it's set to that, I don't want it to take away from it. I want to... to make a check. If the equals unlimited, no, I just want to do if not. If it's not unlimited, then take it away. Then we sell it. Attempt to sell. We need to do that same check. If has item. And depot dot item. Or sorry. Item does not equal unlimited. Let's do the check. I don't want to do a check on both. It has it. Let's do that. Well, it should already have it if it's unlimited, right? Let's just do a check on both. Whatever. It has it, and the thing is unlimited. Not equal unlimited. Oh, that's gross. Kinda hate that. I have to do 2 here. Wait a sec. If it has it, and it's set to unlimited, got it. Okay, no, this is good, right? Godot has the item already. And it's not set to unlimited. Add it. Else. Unlimited stock should always be there. Right? And add more. Good. Sell cobalt. Sell cobalt. Sell cobalt. Good. Buy. Cobalt. Buy. Sell. Sell. Yeah, it's working. Good. Yeah, this makes it way better. Okay, this assigning focus thing is still not working. I don't understand why. Okay. Hereby cobalt. We got the interactables. Really weird that this is not working. Once you assign focus to menu box in your prioritize provided index, then default focus, and attempts to find the next available. Okay, so it's getting here. It is so strange to me that what is valid? That work? I don't know. Every one of these outs has a print to it. What am I missing here? Because it gets here. It gets here. You can see it, right? Ba-da-ba-da-ba-da. Print statement here. Okay, so I'm going to do just spam prints. 1. Where does it stop? 2. 3. 3. Four. It stops at 3, so it stops. Something funky is happening here. So it gets in here. Something's happening. This is a weird thing anyways, so it doesn't surprise me that this is where the weirdness is happening. Okay, let's put this up. Let's nest this. So it should be. Here's the check. Let's print the check here. Print. Got the 3. Interactables. About size. Index. Equals null. Ring. Propose. Self.name. Interactables. Maybe it's stopping here. I don't know. We're gonna find out. So I gotta get the mouse out of there. 1, 2, 3. 1 in a size of 17. So it should be fine. They're really 17? Maybe that's why it's... There should not be 16 interactables. So, A... Why is there 16 interactables? Yeah, we're not removing it for some reason. Interactables that are not being removed. So I need to do that. I need to clear out. Okay, I think I know what's going on. It's so weird that it's not happening here or nothing's being called, but let's. I guess the interactables list is not being updated. Is that what's going on? So if we go back here, clear these out, we got to go to, yeah, they're queue freeing. It's being cleared out here, but the buy new box dot interactables. There, I don't know if move. I don't think I have a remove function for that, which is probably what's going on here. Clear you out. Get all interactables. Currently add interactables. Add interactables, but I don't have like a remove. Like that. Not centered. What is this called? What? Interactable. Queued free, it's disconnecting. So interactable exiting tree. Oh, it's erased itself. It's queue freed. Maybe it's because it hasn't erased itself. Because it's not queue. Maybe it's because it's queue deferred, or like it's deferred. Sorry, call deferred. So this is supposed to handle connecting, but maybe it needs a frame, which kind of sucks. Let's do an experiment. Queue freeing. Wait. I don't like this, but let's see if it works. This shouldn't be 16. This should be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Like half. Yeah, this. Next NATO one. Size of 8. Something is not happening. Oh, what? Wait. Size 16. This is so weird. I don't understand. You're not saying 4 is weird because there's a... Check this out. In this one, it should be only 2. There's only 2 buttons here. What is happening? Don't like that a bit. Something weird's going on. Go to... Nothing in here right now. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to shut the stream down because that's good for one day. And I'm going to figure this out maybe tomorrow. Or maybe if I have some time later tonight after work, I can jump into it and get this fixed. This is weird. I don't know why it's doubling up. There's some weird interaction going on in the background somewhere, and I need to find it. This should be 8. I don't know why it's doubled the size. And then it's not doubling further from here. It's not going into 8s. So it's like, it gets here and then finally removes. Let's do one more test, let's just double this. See what happens here. I don't like this, but see what happens. Okay, that's the right size, but it still didn't get focus. That's weird. I'm still not getting focus call 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so something weird is happening with the signals. That's why I need 2 frames before this thing can update. That's weird. I'm not sure what the actual issue is, so I'll have to come back to this. Hey everyone. For those of you who joined in the stream, thank you so much. And for those of you who are watching later, thanks for checking out the video. Hope you all have a fantastic weekend, and I will see you later. Have a good one.